Welcome to Magicians Talking Magic. My name's Graeme, and today on the podcast, we have Charles Bach of Wonders Theater in Myrtle Beach. And in this episode, we have an exclusive sneak peek of what you can expect as his new theater is set to open. You can also watch this podcast on YouTube. Charles recorded the interview right in the theater, so we really do get an exclusive look. I love your background right now, too. You are currently building Wonders Theater in Myrtle Beach. Charles, do you want to give us the exclusive scoop on Wonders Theater?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in a new location in a much busier area where the nightlife and all the exciting stuff happens. There's a Dave & Buster's, which is exactly our target market. So it's all the people that are coming by, it's making a big difference. And this theater used to be a nightclub called Oz. So now I get to be the Wizard of Oz. And it's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. So the space is not designed for a theater, but when I walked in, I kind of could visualize what it would look like as a theater. There's an area for box office. Obviously, there's bars, so we could create a concessions area, and then another space where it was private little booths that we could create a merchandise area. So it kind of naturally could transition to that. And then there's a DJ booth, which actually we made into a VIP seating area, which is really special. And if I was going to see the show, that's where I'd go. But I'll show you a little bit. There's a lot of things going on. We have a lift and we have it for a week. So we're trying to do all the hanging and running high up because it makes life a lot easier than climbing on ladders. And the proscenium just went up yesterday.
Wow.
Which I designed with my son on his Christmas present, which was a 3D printer. And it was really fun. I actually learned how to do all that stuff because of this. And it was a small little model that we made. And then we took that same drawing and had a CNC router in town, cut it out. And then I framed it out, added LED lights and DMX. And now it's each one of those will light up individually and have full control.
Charles, that looks absolutely incredible. And the designs also, you can see the design throughout all the branding that you have for the Wonders.
So I really like curves and spirals and squigglies and all those kind of things. And I try to incorporate them into everything. And there's an Easter egg hidden in the proscenium, which you'd have to look really close. It's probably easier if you're at the theater and seeing the show to find it. But there is an Easter egg hidden in the proscenium.
Okay, you're going to have to tell us afterwards.
I can't tell you. You got to come.
Okay, well, there you go.
I'm giving a free gift to people who do come after the show and come tell me when we come after the show and you say, I found the Easter egg. This is what it is. And I have a free gift for you.
Well, wow. So there's so many special things happening. I like the VIP booth as well. It seems like that's
right behind me.
That's a really
super nice spot to watch the show. I mean, you couldn't get a better seat because you can see everything really well and you're in prime location. But we also really treat you well. It's behind a velvet rope, up to 6 guests. You get concession credit, $50, and you don't even have to come down for the concessions. We'll bring them up to you, and you don't have to wait in line at all. We take you right up to your spot, so you don't have to do a thing except enjoy the show. And then we have a little cabinet, and inside is a secret merchandise gift we give to you as well. Yeah.
So many incredible secrets.
The one more thing is you get a shout out from the stage. How many people get that?
Yeah. Oh, that's super cool. Charles, I'm personally jealous that up in Canada here, we're totally in lockdown and you are opening up, which is really exciting. How great does it feel as an entertainer and, theater owner to finally get this opportunity?
Well, it has been a long time of concern and stress and worry that we may not be able to go to full capacity. And we, at 50%, will probably skate by. And it's that was the scariest part because we don't want to lose money. We kind of want to achieve goals and make everybody happy. So the fact that the masks kind of is starting to get sorted out and capacity starting to get sorted out. Their bars and restaurants were 100% recently. They've been going nonstop, but theaters had a more strict adherence to the capacity. And I think it's going to get to 100% by the time we open, which would be awesome.
What time do you expect to be fully open?
We're open on June 4th for my show. And then 1 week later, we have 2 more shows added. So it'll be 21 shows a week here at the theater.
Wow.
7 days a week we're going to run.
Wow. And can tell us about all the other shows that'll be happening at the theater?
Well, I'm not the only show. We actually have 2 more shows. Since the space is here, there's no way a human being could do 21 shows a week without really 7 days a week without going nuts and without probably getting physically damaged. So I have 2 other friends that are coming in, and they are a world record juggler named Niels Dunker, and many of you might have heard of Niels. He is fantastic. I mean, the stuff he does is really world class and amazing. And he's got 8 world records. He's doing an afternoon show at 4 o'clock. And then he's also he's going to break another world record during this season. He's going to go for number 9.
Oh, wow.
It's going to happen right here. And that's going to happen this summer. We're going to do that. So that's exciting.
That's really incredible. This is an absolute destination place for any fan of magic or variety arts or entertainment.
For sure. You can stay all day, see all 3 shows, and really get a full exploration of variety entertainment, because Niels has a lot of variety elements in his show. That's not just juggling. He incorporates comedy, and he incorporates some magical effects as well. And we're adding production elements too. So there's special effects that happen in the space. So we've got fog machines that shoot out of the floor. We've got confetti machines. We've got bubble machines. We've got all the toys that we all love are here.
Charles, I know in your you had a little Facebook Live video, and there was one item, and I'm pretty sure you're right near it, that you said you drew in your sketchbook, and now it's in real life.
Oh, yes. Okay, I will show you that. But I do want to tell you about the Hypnosis Show, because the one thing that happens is, let's say you're 18 years old and you're in this nightlife area, there's not much for you to do. You can go ride some rides or something, but there's not much to do. So we thought, okay, let's do something for the adults. My show is very family friendly. Niels is very family friendly, but the adults, there's nothing specifically for them. So the Hypnosis Show is a guy from Las Vegas named Steve Falcon, and it's a comedy hypnosis hour. So he has 18 and over coming in, and it really is a little edgy and a little, adult themed, but super fun. And imagine all the craziness that can happen when adults are in a room and feel comfortable acting like kids. It's going to be a really good time. Really good time. So I'm excited about that show, and I'm going to watch that because it's different every night, because different guests. So I think that'll be a really fun show, definitely. But I do have a little something. This is the top right here, right there, and then it goes down. That's a giant magic wand, and that is a top hat. That is a photo op. Now, a lot of the restaurants and some of the attractions here have these things that you've probably seen before, where you put your head in the thing and it makes your body look funny, or you look like a mermaid, or you look like a fish. And they said there's too many of those.
Okay.
Beach, way too many. They said, we're trying to cut down on those as much as possible. They said, can you come up with something different? So I explored everything. I even put a Facebook post up, if some of you responded to it, all those photo op things that are magical. And some people wrote some things, and then David Copperfield has the most amazing one, and it's patented. That's his. So don't.
Okay.
It's patented.
Don't steal it.
Patent. You can see how it's made, but you can't build one. That's his. So that's. Oh, hey, I got a visitor. Hold on a second. There we go.
What's up, Charles?
Hey, Paul. We're doing a little interview right now. Yay.
Excellent.
This is Paul. He is from the Magic Club right here in Myrtle Beach. He is absolutely fantastic. If there was a Wizard of Oz, this would be the guy. He's got the sense of humor.
Paul, you look really similar to the Wizard as well.
If you pulled away the curtain, that's who you'd see right there. Yeah.
Paul, thanks for doing a special guest cameo on Magicians Talking Magic podcast. I hope you listen to and subscribe.
I will. I probably already have.
Okay.
Just popped in to see the progress.
Yay.
And I got to go check in at the Magic.
Well, fantastic.
At Broadway Magic.
He's at Broadway Magic, which is a really cool magic shop right here at Broadway at the beach. And those guys are really awesome. It is like the magic shop that you grew up with. It's got all the professional stuff as well as the beginner stuff, so you can really start your magic journey right there.
So you can have a full magic experience down there at Myrtle Beach.
Oh, definitely. It's really cool.
How many instances of Wonders Theater have you had at this point?
So this would be my second one, other than the Wonders Show, which I've taken on cruises and shows around. But the second time, so the first time I was in the IMAX theater, which happens to be across the water from where we are right here in the same Broadway at the beach. And that room was massive. It was so big. It was 60 feet high ceilings and a pit where, you know, an IMAX theater has a giant pit so you can see the screen at the bottom too. And that was a challenge. So we built a stage that was 10 foot high to get us out of that pit.
Oh my
and then
goodness.
you could see the show. And it was fine. However, it was more challenging because we couldn't do anything in the ceiling. We couldn't do anything from above. We actually had to bring everything down. So we treated it almost like a convention or a touring show where you come in, you set up the whole thing, and then you leave. And when this space became available, I could see it being more intimate and more magical, you know, or more immersive, I would say. And it really did work that way. It really feels nice.
It seems like magic shows have shifted that way to the smaller, intimate, parlor style magic show. And if you're watching the video here, you would see the depth kind of the stage, that it is a really close up experience. Was that one of your goals when selecting a new theater, was to make it a little bit smaller, more intimate too?
I do like the intimate style. I think that we are transitioning, like all the nightclubs in Vegas are turning into lounges.
Okay.
That style of sitting, talking to your friends, relaxing, having cool drinks, and having an atmosphere has become really popular. And Vegas is always a trendsetter anyway. So if that's happening there, then I know that that's going to spread across. And for magicians and anybody that does an intimate experience, that's a benefit for all of us. Those big, giant production shows and big, huge casts and all those things are more difficult to produce now. So this is a direction we're going to go.
When you first started taking on the challenge of creating the Wonders Theater, I mean, that's a huge step in your professional career. Did you get help from other magicians, illusionists, entertainers?
Absolutely. So believe it or not, this is a community, and all the magicians really do care. We love magic, and we want it to grow and continue and spread. And I have amazing friends that I've had for many, many years who I reached out to, who have had this experience, who have built a theater, who have done all this process. And I said, you know, I'm an idiot when it comes to many, many of these things. I know the questions to ask, but I don't know the answers. And they guided me along the way. And Greg Fruin is awesome. He is definitely one of my best resources. And he said, come on up to the theater. And so I flew up to Canada and spent a few days with him, and he went through the process. My head was overwhelmed with information, but as I absorbed it all and put it all together, I knew that it was possible. It's hard work, though. It's really hard work. So if you're not ready for that dive, you know, the magic is this much, and the business is, I don't even have enough room for that part. Yeah.
When it comes to this whole process, what do you think the hardest lesson's been, or like the hardest or the most real lesson out of all of it?
So be prepared for the unexpected, for sure, because that is definitely going to happen, but plan the crap out of it. I mean, really plan everything, and do your budgeting as well. Budget everything, and try not to go beyond that. You will have to in some ways, but other ways you can pretty much ask the right questions, get the right bids, get the right quotes, and stay to your budget. Because at the end of the day, you want to make revenue. You want to make money.
Bringing it back to your magic specifically, your show, looking at the visuals, you kind of mentioned that it's all very curly and circular and bubbly and everything like that. And I've gotten to know you over the past year and learned that Doug Henning is a huge influence in your magic career. And you can see that in the poster images, that you're almost kind of like a modern version of Doug Henning, creating this Wonders Theater. Do you find that's what you've been trying to capture your entire professional career?
I think that is beautiful representation of exactly what I've done. So there are three major influences, and if you look carefully, you'll find them all. Willy Wonka, the movie, obviously made a big impression on me. Jim Henson and the Muppets made a huge impression on me. And obviously Doug Henning was the biggest impression of all. Absolutely. That's where it all started.
For someone that it might be their first time hearing about Charles Bach, and they're like, I have to check out this theater. I'm in the States. I can do this. What kind of magic? What might we expect in your show?
So you're going to see things that you've probably not seen before, because I have invested in original illusions, because once I started, I couldn't afford those when I first began. So I would take what I do differently, which is dance, and incorporate dance and magic and theming into those routines. And then as I started to make a living from it, I would develop those ideas, take them to the builders, and build new things that haven't been done before. So my big goal has always been to try to be original and different with what we do.
When you speak to original illusions, because I've also learned a whole lot more about illusions hanging out with Ryan Joyce and the small community of illusionists and the respect of you can't just go and build someone's patented illusion. When you're talking original illusions, do you have original methods, or are these original?
So some original methods, some things that are hundreds of years old, and some things that I've just taken and twisted into a new direction. And I wanted to look to an audience as a different illusion. So if there's an origami, it should not look like the traditional origami in some way. I don't have that in the show, but if you did have a zigzag or something, you would kind of twist it in your own special way, so it would look different to the general public.
You tiptoed over it that you have a background in dance. Not every magician, probably most magicians, don't have a background in dance. What led you to that?
Well, it was Doug Henning. Believe it or not, in his program, he had this, and if you have an old program, look through it. It's really cool. It gives you some insight into his thinking and what he was doing at the time. He talks about the things he did to get ready for what his world of magic. And he said, any good magician should study movement and take dance. And that was all I needed to hear. The next week, my sister was in dance, and I went to the same dance studio and I started taking classes. And she didn't continue, but I did. And I actually became a professional ballet dancer. So I was in ballet companies for quite a few years. And then I did Nutcracker. There was a Nutcracker performances for 30 days straight. And there's a one of the routines or variations in the show is the Russian variation. And I had these, it's called a coffee grinder. So if you Google it or YouTube it, you'll see what a coffee grinder is. But it messed up my knee pretty bad. And I had to have surgery on my knee. And after that, I thought I'll take 6 months off, kind of rest my knee, and I'll go back to dancing. And I had 5 different jobs with different companies to choose from. And then I auditioned for this show in Vegas called The Magical Empire at Caesar's Palace. And I got the job. And I went to Caesar's Palace for what would have been 6 months and ended up staying for 4.5 years. And I worked with some of the best magicians in the world. I mean, fantastic experience. And that's kind of where I like that. It was immersive. It was imagine underground in ancient Roman times. And then there was there was a dinner magic show, which I was part of. Played a wizard character, and you sang, you danced, you did magic. You were right immersive. It was only 25 people in this room. So it was like dinner magic. It's kind of like the Mystique experience, if you've ever seen that. And that was a great room to develop your skills and your interaction with an audience. And I did probably 5,000 to 10,000 shows there.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Having a background in dance, I mean, that takes incredible work ethic. And probably your teachers and your trainers at a young age were giving you these tools so that you would focus in on practice to have quality performance. And obviously, obviously this transcends in your magic and in your business work ethic as well. Do you find that there's some, like coaching strategies or, early lessons that you learned from dancing and doing all those shows that you continue to carry on, that you maybe even share with your children?
Absolutely. That's a great question. There really is those strategies in dance. I would say the most strict teachers I ever had were dance teachers, because they are very disciplined and very structured. And I find that to be very effective as a starting point. Ballet is a very structured. It has to be exact. Your body position. You're going up and down your body. It's similar to when you're working on a manipulation routine and you're trying to explore every angle to make sure it's just perfect. And that's exactly what's going on with the dance. Is from head to toe, you're constantly scanning your body, making sure, is my head lifted, is my chest lifted, are my arms lifted, is my elbow up, is every position is constantly being checked. And eventually it becomes more natural, but at the start it is just take one ballet class, just take one, and you'll have that experience. You'll actually know, and I promise you, they'll give you the first class for free, especially if you're a boy. They will love to have you in the class, but that experience will teach you a lot. And that's just one class. You'll see how the process works. And if you can apply that to your magic, you'll really grow from it.
Did you have mentors in magic too when you started to really dive into performing magic?
When it comes to mentors in magic, I did go to, I was part of the St. Louis Magic Club, which is Ring 1 and Assembly 8. And I was overwhelmed as a kid going into, my first lecture was Dan Fleshman, who is an amazing close-up magician, really talented magician. And his cups and balls blew me away. And I think I bought a copper silver that night. And that was my first kind of thing that I was playing with. But I was little. I was very little. But I was overwhelmed by how big the magic world is that day. And then I started to meet these other magicians, and they kind of take you under their wing and they kind of guide you along the way. And you do shows together or you do competitions together. And those things are very valuable. You share.
What was your first illusion?
My first illusion was a shadow box, which of course we built based on the Wells books of illusions, the greatest illusions. And the plans are in there. So we built it right from the plans. And that was my first illusion.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't have it because I have a new shadow box that is, it's much prettier and much nicer. But that first one, yeah, it was fun to perform. I was probably in 5th grade when I first performed that. Yeah.
You were performing on cruise ships, and now you have this land theater, and talk about fantastic timing on that situation. When it comes to cruise ships and the industry of cruising, what are your thoughts kind of, big picture going forward? Because I've been hearing, like, I know Ryan has been asked to go on a cruise. He's been asked to do a cruise.
That's wonderful. It's good to hear that they are starting to vamp up, because it was scary. All of our contracts were canceled almost immediately. And then the next thing that happened was they were starting to make plans for starting, and then that stopped, and then it started again, and then it stopped. So every week we would have a meeting to discuss what the process was, and it was very slow moving. But now that it's starting to ramp up, I think there's plenty of pent-up demand. They're not bringing as many big production shows on the ships because it requires more staffing and dancers and all these things. And I think there's an opportunity for more magicians who can bring on their show and don't mind being out for 2, 3, 4 months at a time to really get that opportunity.
This past year has been very unique and special. For me, I consider it, I mean, we're still in it, but I consider it's basically been a huge magic convention. I mean, I've gotten to know you from unique virtual experiences. What's been your perspective looking back on this past year of virtual pandemic life?
So it has been exactly what you said. We've created our own little magic conventions, and we do it often. We had that one with Chip Romero, who showed us some of the amazing, my God, my heart was stopping watching some of these pieces. He has the biggest collection and best collection of Doug Henning memorabilia in the world. And he loves it and has put it together with all his heart. And it is just a joy to see. So if he does one of the conventions or anything like that, make it a point to see, because it will change your experience completely of what you thought Doug Henning was. He was a way bigger monster than you can imagine. I'm
going to rapid fire 5 questions at you, and then we'll wrap this up really quick, because I know you're really busy too, and I do appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Doing this with me this morning. First of all, favorite magic book?
My favorite magic book? Wow. That Great Illusions of Magic was a really strong influence on me. because I could look through there in the plans and I would imagine myself doing these big illusions. So as an illusionist, that was a very strong influence. Magic book wise for theory, it would be the Fitzky trilogy for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. You can open it to any page and it will do something for you. I mean, really, any page, and you just read a paragraph and you go, oh yeah, that's really great thinking. And then there's some wonderful S.H. Sharp things that every magician should read. Every magician should read. His theories on magic will make you a better magician no matter what. And it's all written in very short sentences, like a Hemingway novel. And each one of those can be put on a t-shirt because it is so powerful.
Wow. You just opened me up to some new things that I didn't know about there. Number 2, do you have a favorite, magic VHS tape or DVD that you watched over and over and over and over again?
Yeah, Vito Lupo's videos are amazing. His presentation, his character, and his manipulation skills were astounding. So if you can find some old Vito Lupo material, you'll love it.
Do you have a magic trick that you used to always perform, but you just don't perform it anymore because you just don't have the outlet for it, like a close-up trick or something like that?
Well, there was very few opportunities to do magic. However, I did find more ways to do things interactively because I found myself doing more of these Zoom things and more through a camera or anything like that. So I find we've learned more ways to still make it interactive, still give that magical experience without having them touch an object, without having them choose a card. I think that's been a creative challenge that actually makes us all better.
Besides Doug Henning, who are some of your biggest influences in magic?
David Copperfield, no doubt about it, is the greatest illusionist ever. And if you don't believe that, just start watching his videos from history, because they took everything that they did, they elevated it. They would take something that we all know and then just build and build and build and build and build on it and make it the best it could be until it was a work of art. In every element that included the staging, the lighting, the prop design, the choreography, every element was made the best it could be.
Last and final question. How much wiffle dust does it take to vanish a playing card?
All of it.
Charles, thank you so much for being on the podcast today, and thanks for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Graeme. Thank you for asking me. It's awesome.
Triple snaps to Charles. Charles, thank you so much for coming on to this week's episode of Magicians Talking Magic. If you want to learn how to get tickets, Google Wonders Theater, check out wonderstickets.com, and you can find out all the information on all the shows upcoming at Wonders Theater this season. Oh man, I am so jealous. If you like this podcast, make sure you hit subscribe if you're listening on a podcast app. And if you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe too. We have a whole lot of new fun content headed your way here on YouTube. Also, make sure you join our Discord. There's a virtual magic panel coming up. We have the book club, contest, and a whole lot more. We'd really love to see you over on our Discord. Of course, all these links are in the descriptions below skis. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Magicians Talking Magic. On behalf of Ryan and myself, Shablazim Tadoozle,